YouTube, what is going on, everyone? Chris with Jerno's Comics and Pop Culture. We already got some folks in the house. Isaac, Kid Collector. He came from the Nerd Cave. Says he needs some Chris energy. I appreciate that. What is going on, everyone? Hope everyone is having a happy Thursday. Might already be Friday in some parts of the world, but I hope everyone is well. Thank you for joining me today. This is going to be a Q&A. Just getting to know me. I've talked about it with many of you in live streams in the past about, just kind of diving into getting to know me outside of comic books and, the stuff that we talk about every single day. Apple, what's going on? Brick Gaming. So that's what we'll do today, man. We'll hang out for a little bit. As always, I ask everyone to sit tight for a moment. For those watching on the rewind, you might want to fast forward the next few minutes. We're just going to chill, allow some more folks to hop on in. I want to let everyone know that I got some links in the description below. First and foremost, if you are not registered to vote, I have the website link that you can go to get registered right now. If you are a U.S. citizen, please, guys, it's very imperative. No matter what your political beliefs are or, where you stand, if you are 18 years of age and you are a U.S. citizen, you need to exercise your right to vote. That link is below. So, guys, please click that link, open it up in another tab or something. And if you don't do it right now, do it later today. It's imperative. Go out there and, regardless of your beliefs, let your voice be known. And I stress this too, guys. It's not just about a presidency, right? It's about your local politics, who's running for mayor, who's running for your city councils, measures and stuff that are local to your county or your state, propositions that are local to your state. All of these things matter, and you can really make a difference on those things. It's not just about voting for presidencies during election time. So, guys, if you're not registered, please take some time to do so. Link below. Anthony, what's going on? Spreza, what is up? Some other links below. I got obviously some links affiliated with Jerno's Comics and Pop Culture. We got my Instagram below. We got Comic Book Canon link below. YouTube, if you're still not subscribed to our Comic Book Canon YouTube, guys, please do so. We have another awesome show coming tomorrow night, every Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And we got some really cool I guess you can call it an unboxing for tomorrow's show. So you guys want to come check that out. Let's see what else. So I got some music links below. We might talk about that a little bit today. Yeah, for those that don't know, I'm a musician as well. I have my websites, the link to my music websites below as well. If you guys want to check that out just for fun, it's all there. So just some things that I thought would be interesting for you guys to check out for sure. Thomas, what's going on? Are you considering getting cabinets and display? Isaac, not at the moment. No, I mean, I think I talked about this before too. Like in my room right here, it's very specific how it is right now, and I don't have much room for anything else. And the way I have it set up, and again, I haven't been buying a lot of anything other than comic books with my money. So in terms of like my Transformers that you guys can't see, of course, I got some toys and stuff back here, but I got another bookshelf over here that you guys may have seen if you watch my room tour. But right now it's books, man. It's books, and if anything, I need more shelving units for comic boxes. So yeah, yep. We shall see. So Anthony, yeah, we are all as Americans in the position to make that difference, right? So like I said, man, I encourage you. I'm not telling you to go vote for a specific person. I'm just telling you all to be involved. Be involved, because it absolutely matters, especially at the local level, especially. And I often look, Fred, as some, not to get into politics here, but before we kind of dive into what we're going to be doing today, let me just say, I'm the type of person that doesn't conform to a political party. I look to the character of the individuals, what they represent. I don't box my ideals into a blindfolded political ideal that fits in a box. So for me, it's really about sometimes where if there's a president candidate that doesn't speak to me, there's been times where I haven't voted for a president candidate from either party because I just don't feel like they represent me. But what I make sure I do is I get involved and educate myself to what's going on in my town, in my county, and in my state, because those things are very important. And where I live, just a couple votes can really make a difference. So I encourage you all to be aware of what's going on, what measures and what propositions are going on, who your local council members are, and who your mayor is, and board members. And I just, like I said, just be involved at all levels, guys. So anyways, let's see. Have I read issue 7? No, I haven't read issue 7 of Thor. I'm on number 6. I'm getting my issue number 7 with my previews order, so I'm going to get it at the end of the month. So no spoilers, please, because I'm not there yet. Same with Venom. I did a mail order subscription through Marvel for Venom, so I'm a couple issues behind. I think I only read up to issue 26 on Venom because I haven't got my first issue in the mail yet. Did I read 27? Might have read 27. So yeah, guys, indeed. So here we are, guys, hanging out. I got my sit down, be humble shirt on. Just want to remind everyone to be humble, especially in this day and age right now with everything going on in the world. Let's be here to appreciate each other, unite under our our similarities rather than divide each other through our differences and so forth. So, but with that being said, guys, what's up? I'm here with you all. Let's talk about some things. Like I said, we can always talk about comic books, but in my last couple of live streams, I had a lot of people saying, hey, let's I want to know more of your story or about you and where you've been and stuff like that. So anything outside of comics, guys, I'll kind of let you guys lead the way here. If you have any specific questions, I don't want to just ramble and talk about my life story, but I'm willing to share with you guys a lot on my journey, in life and how I got to where I'm at today. I've talked a little bit about these things here and there. So if there's a starting point that you guys want to ask or question, please feel free. I sent a while about another live stream. You can check out Far Sector. Oh yeah, I haven't yet, Isaac. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take note of that right now. I got my little pen and my notepad right here. I'm telling you guys, it's a lot to keep organized with recommendations and notes and everything when it comes to all that I try to process from my channel. Far Sector. Okay, but I got it down here, Isaac. I'll check that out. To check out. Indeed. All right. So let's go over some basics. And while I'm talking about some basics, I'll let you guys go over or ask some questions. Myth Lab, what's going on? First off, just a little about me. A lot of you might know this, but I am, my name's Chris. Jerno's Comics. Jerno's, for those that don't know, Jerno is a mix of both of my sons' names. Jerno comes from both of their names, and I put them together, and that's where Jerno came from. I have other aliases. I'm also known as Oni. That's my musician alias. So I could get into that in a little bit. But Jerno, that's where I came up with that name for my channel because it was my kid's idea to start making this YouTube. Do a video, show off your comic book room, right? I live in California. I live in Northern California. I've been here all my life. Well, not specifically where I'm at right now, but in Northern California all my life. What's my day job? So currently right now, well, before the pandemic, I was two things. I was a sports director at an elementary school. I worked with all ages from 1st grade to 6th grade. And I was also a paraeducator, a speech and language paraeducator. Unfortunately, I was laid off from both jobs, but I'm still currently laid off from the sports job because there's no sports right now, right? So there's no kids at school. So how come I be a sports instructor when there's no sports going on? So laid off from that. I am teaching distance learning via the speech and language pair job, but it's very minimal. My main job was my sports director position. And then the para job was part time. It was only 2 hours a day. So that's what I'm working right now. So I went through a battle once COVID hit. I went through a 5-month battle trying to get unemployment. It finally came. Thank you to the powers that be. But I'm still earning some money doing the 2 hours a day as a para educator. Obviously, I do art commissions, and that was something that really helped me pay the bills and stay afloat in the first 5 months of the pandemic. Thanks to a lot of you too who commissioned me as well. Um, and I've been putting a lot of energy into this YouTube, and I do get a little bit of revenue from YouTube, but most of that I try to put back into the channel. Actually, I think absolutely every dollar that I've gotten from YouTube has gone back into the channel, whether it's new lights, a new camera, or something that allows me to continue to make this channel better and to create more content. Anthony, you know what? You're not close to it, right? No, that's hilarious. So, hey, funny thing, Anthony. Anthony says, now I'm a male escort. Funny thing, when I graduated college last year in May of 2019, and I graduated with 3 degrees. I graduated with a bachelor's in business management and a minor in behavioral and social and behavioral sciences, and also had a second associate's degree in business administration. So I had 3 degrees. I graduated with honors, and I could not find a job. I literally, once I graduated in May, June, July, August, September, almost 5 months, I applied for at least 10 to 15 jobs a day. And for those that don't know, most jobs that you apply for these days, you don't walk into a company and fill out a resume and hand them a resume. It's when you do that, they tell you go on the website, go to the website. There's no interpersonal connection. It's all online. And I literally filed over for 1,000 positions. I got like 7 interviews. And this is somebody that has, before I went to school, I worked in sales and retail management. I was a manager at Sprint, top in my district in sales month to month. I managed a Pete's Coffee. I don't know if you guys, Pete's is mainly on the West Coast, but like a Starbucks, Pete's Coffee and Tea. I managed a Pete's. I managed a Barnes and Noble cafe, and I was an assistant manager with Starbucks before I left Starbucks. So I have a lot of retail sales management experience, plus getting my 3 degrees and graduating with honors. I couldn't get a job. I could not get a job, and I started going through pretty bad depression. What's going on, Tony? And funny thing, to this all started with Anthony saying now he's a male escort. I was getting emails for job openings, and one of them was porn star. I'm not even lying. I like screenshotted and shared it on my Facebook. I'm like, hey, you know what? At this point, it's like, shoot, what else is there? Right? It was hilarious. So yeah. That's my current day job. What's funny is I had my sights set on being an educator of some sort, but because I got a business degree and because of my business background, I wanted to get into like a strong business role, whether it be like I applied for multiple like account manager positions. And I'm confident in my ability to, as a businessman. And I felt like 2 things were going on. And one, because I started applying for fast food jobs. I couldn't get fast food. I couldn't get management, like a shift supervisor at freaking Taco Bell or something, right? Either I was overqualified for those jobs, Safeway and grocery store jobs and stuff, not because at that point I can't pay bills. I'm struggling. I can't find work. I was desperate to get anything. And so I wasn't getting those jobs. And then I wasn't getting the jobs that I knew that I would excel in because of my background and my degree. So it's like, if you have the degree, they still want like 5 to 10 years of experience, whatever that means. But it's an entry level job, right? How is an entry level job? How are you wanting 5 years of experience in an entry level job? What does that even mean? So it's either I was overqualified or they wanted more. My degree wasn't enough. It was a pain in the ass. And so I actually applied for a librarian position at an elementary school when I got interviewed for it. And the teacher said, or excuse me, the principal that interviewed me said, this is going to go to someone else, but would you like to come on as a sports director? Because I have experience teaching youth sports, and working with kids and all that stuff. So I said, absolutely. And once I was in the door there, I started the conversation to say, look, one of my goals was to be an English teacher, high school English teacher. I really want to be a teacher. Can we get me in the door here and get me into something that's gets me into the classroom? Because as a sports director, you're outside in the yard with the kids. As a paraeducator, you're in the classroom. So I'm working with kindergartners and first graders for speech and language. So it's basically children with that have English as a second language, or they have learning disabilities, or they're autistic, or they're underperforming and they're like special needs. So those are the kids that I work with as a paraeducator, teach them how to learn speech and language fundamentals. So yep, that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. Kid collector. Kid collector, close your ears. Oh man. Hope school is going good for you, kid collector. Moses, what is going on? Do you jam Deftones? Do I listen to Deftones? I used to listen to some Deftones back in the day a little bit. I believe they're from my area. I think they're from Northern California, right? They're from the Bay Area, if I remember correctly. 3 degrees in honors. How dare you think that you can easily get yourself a decent job? Sarcasm, right? I mean, like, man, the Pope is in the house. English is kid collector's favorite subject. It's a beautiful thing. Look, English is such a broad, it's reading, it's writing, it's critical thinking, it's music, it's language, it's so much things. I mean, like I just love English, the subject. And I had an English professor, the same professor. She was for all my English classes in college, and I absolutely love her. She is an inspiration for me that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And she changed my life, and she really inspired me. And it's really she really pushed me to wanting to be a teacher for sure. Let's see. Desmond says, do you apply your drawing skills in your music career, posters, flyers, album? Desmond, yes, in a way, because I do graphic design. Now, when I was doing, when I was working with the record label that had signed me, and I was doing marketing, I was also doing graphic design for them as well. And I used to make flyers and promotional designs. I used to code MySpace. I don't know if you guys remember MySpace. I used to do coding for music, for like hieroglyphics and Collie Buds, Devin the Dudes, MySpace pages and stuff. And I would make flyers for shows and whatnot. So I do all my own graphic design. So if you guys go to my music websites, links below, all that graphic design I did. So yeah, I take my artistic skills into graphic design when it comes to my music. Primus. Yeah, Beach Nerd, what is going on? Let's see. Is Key Collector taking applications? All right. Key Collector got 98% on his English and 90 and everything else. Good job. Good job. Good to see the youth doing good in school for sure. Mo said he did IT for the school district and loved it. Now at a university. Nice. That's why I love English. I am a creative writer and I compete in the power of the pen. Awesome. Absolutely. Guys, reading is fundamental. I mean, look, this is what we talk about. We talk about reading comic books, but don't just read comic books. Read, expand your mind. There's a lot of good classic novels out there. There's a lot of good nonfiction. Books are eternal knowledge for sure. Who is on your Tony asks, who is on your playlist when listening to music? All right, guys, music. So for those that don't know, as a musician, I do hip hop music. I listen to absolutely everything. Like up the top of my head, I talk about Tupac a lot. Tupac saved my life. His music and his legacy and his word influenced me. I got to make music with his cousins and his group, the Outlaws. But Tupac is number one. Outkast. Big shout out to Kendrick Lamar. But I'll throw in anything from hip hop artists like the ones I just mentioned to Tracy Chapman to Creedence Clearwater to Stevie Nicks to Sarah McLachlan to 80s Def Leppard, Guns N' Roses to Stevie Wonder. I mean, I will listen to Lady Gaga. I love me some Lady Gaga, Rihanna. Donny Hathaway, Sam Cooke, the Beatles, the Monkees, some Beach Boys. I'm like all over the place, guys. I mean, seriously, Bone Thugs and Harmony, to the young hip hop artists like Polo G. I'm just literally. I'll listen to some like Moroccan music. Obviously, some Marley, some Bob Marley, Ziggy Marley, some reggae. I used to rock with a reggae band. Big shout out to Hypnotic Vibrations. I'm all over the place. KRS-One, Boot Camp Click. Yeah, my music does not Leonard Skinner. I do not. I'm not prejudiced, to some 80s, Hall and Oates, Tina Turner. I'm on Bad Religion. I mean, Green Day. I could just go on. Like I listen. I like a Florence and the Machine. Uh, Lots of SZA. Yeah, it's. The only thing I really don't like, and this may I don't really like country music, guys, but there's art like I like Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks is deep. I like music that gives me goosebumps, right? It makes me feel it inside. Garth Brooks is absolutely he puts his soul into his music. I like some old school Alabama. Their song "I'm in a hurry to get things done," and but like there's deep meaning in that. Like so but country in general, I just can't really like. I don't know, man. It just a lot of it. But like I said, I'm not gonna just stereotype all country musicians. There's some that I can get down with. Let's see. Grease, the Grease soundtrack. You know what soundtrack? The Footloose soundtrack. Footloose. Man, there's a maniac at my door. Footloose soundtrack was dope. Absolutely. Pope says Tupac saved my ass too. For sure, man. There's always something for someone. Read everything. Let's see. How old are your kids and are they into comics? Um, My kids are now 13 and 15, blowing my mind. They are into comics. My oldest got out of comics for the last couple of years. You know, we started getting into high school. He was really into sports and basketball, but since the pandemic, he got really hardcore back into comics. But he's not like a collector. He likes getting the trade paperbacks and reading. He likes the Marvel Unlimited so he can read, and he's been reading a lot. He loves Batman. So he's a big reader. My little dude likes to collect, but he's a big reader too, but he doesn't take care of his books like at all. At all, you know, but he'll read them. He'll read them more than once, over and over. He's starting to learn how to keep them in bags and boards though, but yeah. What camera do I use to make my videos? So when you guys see my recorded videos, I usually use my Galaxy S9 because it is a ultra 4K high def. So I just use my phone. I mean, it works. This that I'm using right now was a Logitech. It's an older model. It's from like 2017, but it is 1080p. But on StreamYard, I only get 720. I don't get that ultra high definition with the 1080. For StreamYard, you have to pay, you know, the monthly fees, which I'm just not ready yet. I did upgrade my lighting recently, which has helped. So that's what I use. I think I'm good for now. I think I could still do a little more for my lighting to have that better, but lighting is key, guys. Lighting is key, and I've been learning that for sure. All right, let's see. Comicsgate. I'm not too sure, Mitch. What's Comicsgate? Fill me in. Fill me in. Is that might not be, or I might just be blanking. Let's see. English linguistics, Brit Gaming. That's awesome. I am always open to recommendations for music. You know, I used to go to Rasputin's and Amoeba in Berkeley and San Francisco. And if you guys aren't familiar with Rasputin's and Amoeba, they are big, like warehouse type music stores, records, cassettes, CDs. And I used to just go pull out random CDs and stuff. And if the cover attracted me, I could go into like new age world music to like blues or hip hop and I would just, if something appealed to me on the cover, I was like, I'll buy this and give it a listen. Kid Collector is on that Tupac. I appreciate it. Another one, Nas. Nas is another one that, you know, if you're really looking to, you know, find that message. Um, indeed, indeed. Let's see. There's two types of music, says Pope, good and bad. I like that, even though music is subjective. Do I listen to some heavy metal music? Def Leppard. I know heavy metal could go both ways, right? Because heavy metal could be more of that metal, but then it can also be the big hair bands of the 80s, like, you know, Warrant, some Poison, right? Def Leppard. I love Def Leppard. Hey, look, Hysteria, the 1987 Def Leppard Hysteria album, to me is one of the greatest albums of all time. I'll state it. I'll say that. So yeah, I mean, I like Metallica. You know, I listened to a little Megadeth here and there as a kid, but I don't like stuff that's like rah, 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 rah. It just that gets so loud and crazy. It hurts my head. Let's see what we got. Uh, uh, do you think your kids could hop on here sometime? Kid Collector. You know what, man? That would I bet. Here's the thing with that about my kids coming on my channel is that YouTube. I I'm scared of I used to have. There's a couple videos randomly out there that are demonetized that I have them in. I'm scared to bring them on the channel just because of all the new laws that YouTube pushed through. I could get like demonetized and shut down if I have them on my videos. So I'm worried about doing that. But Kid Collector, if you I don't know if you game at all, but if you hit me up on Instagram, I can give you like they play on Xbox. My oldest is saving up to get a new PlayStation. So I don't know if you play on PlayStation or Xbox, but you know, I'll give you their gaming. My little dude actually does Twitch streaming as well. So private message me, and I'll try to get you their screen names and information. You guys can link up. Let's see. Beechner says, how about some cash? I'm assuming he don't mean that green dollar bill. I'm assuming he means Johnny Cash. Hey, Johnny Cash, man. I did a paper on Johnny Cash. I did a paper on Johnny Cash for my it was actually for a business course. I would be willing to share that with anybody that wants to read it. Hit me up on Instagram or via my Gmail, captainjournocomics@gmail.com, and I'll send you the paper that I wrote on Johnny Cash. I wrote a lot of papers on musicians. Saturday Night Fever. Let's see. All right, we got lighting is definitely key, says Perry Comics. Absolutely. Do I travel much? What are some favorite places that I've been to? Okay, so man, look, I've been raising my kids has been tough financially, especially trying to go to school. Right now, after graduating, I'm probably most financially stable than I've been in a long time. So I haven't traveled as much as I used to. I did. My parents actually took us to Disneyland 3 years ago and the kids, and that was amazing that my kids got to experience that because I hadn't been there since I was like 11. I've traveled to visit family up in Portland over the last 10 years. I've gone to Utah, Denver. I went to Denver in 2013. Got to catch a Giants game at Coors Field. That was awesome, man. Caught a foul ball off of Brandon Belt. That was an amazing experience. Denver is a really cool city. Got to go to the original Mile High Comics. And I got to stop at comic book stores all through Nevada and in Salt Lake and Denver and so forth. That was a really cool experience to do. I've been to the mountains in the Northern California, here and there over the last few years. But I've traveled. I've been to Canada. I've been to some other states. I haven't been outside of the United States except for Canada and Mexico. I'm Sicilian. I would love to visit Sicily someday for where my family is from. My favorite place that I've ever been to is Hawaii. Beautiful. I'm talking about the tourist vibe of Hawaii, but the culture there and the tropical geography. I've been to Hawaii 4 times. I've been to Maui. I've been to Honolulu on Oahu, and I've been to Lanai, which you don't take a plane there. It's a smaller island. We took a boat out there from Maui one time I was there. I went twice as a kid and I went twice as a young adult. So man, and going to Hawaii changed my life, guys. Like when I went there, the first time I went there I was 18, and I brought some music that helped change. But like at that point in time, I was coming out of a really bad place in my life and getting my life back on track. And going there, like I remember just sitting, watching the sunset and sitting at night right on the ocean, the smell of the air. I can't even describe it. There was nothing like it. The sound of the ocean waves and just being in that environment and listening to the music that I was listening to really helped me get on track in my life. So, but yeah, man, I mean, I would love, like, my family's from Chicago. My Sicilian family came from Sicily, went to Chicago. I was supposed to go to Chicago a couple years ago for a family reunion. That didn't happen. So I have never been to Chicago. I've never been to the East Coast, and I have a lot of folks from Jersey. And I need to get out there. I absolutely need to do some more. So I hope once COVID lifts and I'm in a better financial situation. Ironically, I've been looking at possibly moving to maybe the Portland area or to Washington State. That's definitely on my plate right now. So I just hope wherever I go, they have amazing comic book stores, right? Let's see. Uh, Fallout 3 got me vibing. Yo, I just invested in some Ubisoft stock. It's cheap right now. It's cheap right now. It's doing decent too. It's like $18 a share. So if you guys got a few dollars to invest, Ubisoft is a good stock to invest in right now. It's a foreign stock, so it's not as volatile to like your S&P 500 or index. That's domestic stock. It's always good to mix up a little domestic with international stock. So I always talk about Starbucks stock is a very healthy domestic stock to invest in. But Ubisoft right now is decently cheap. Verizon is a good domestic stock to invest in. They pay out good dividends. So I got a little bit of Starbucks, Verizon, Ubisoft right now. I invested in some cannabis stock. Yep. I invested in some EV, electric vehicle stock, a new company. I don't have enough money to invest in Tesla. Hey guys, funny thing on investing, we talk about investing with comics. In 2019, I believe it was like April 2019, I went on my Facebook and said, invest in Tesla stock. At that point in time, it was just over $40 a share. I didn't have money. I was trying to graduate school. I was in debt. I was in the middle of filing bankruptcy. And I was a starving student trying to raise two kids. I didn't have $40 to buy one share of Tesla stock. Right now, if you would have invested $10,000 in Tesla stock when I told everyone on social media to go invest, if you invested $10,000, you would have a $500,000 right now. If you invested $1,000, you'd have what was it? I believe like about $10,000 right now. So yeah, man, Tesla stock is just. I knew it was only a matter of time. So, but I invested about a few shares. It's only like $5 a share for this up and coming company. I believe their tag is FUV, and it's $5. It's about $5 a share. I think about like 5 or 6 shares, and they just got a $1.2 billion contract for their electric vehicle. So I think people are gonna follow in Tesla's footsteps. I just think it's the future. It's the way we're heading. So just a little bit of stock market advice there, guys. Let's get back to some questions. Vanilla Ice, hero or zero? Vanilla Ice, great talent, nothing but a puppet. So I feel for Vanilla Ice because I believe it wasn't his own fault. His downfall wasn't necessarily his own fault. He was made to be this puppet by an industry that chewed him up and spit him out. That's what I got to say about that. Let's see. I'm the best rapper. My music video got 25K. Sanchez, are you being serious? You rap? You got a video? Let me know, man. Drop me your link. Louis, what's going on? Louis 13th. Hey, I was born on August 13th. M1 Peckham, check you out right now. Let's see. What other questions we got? Comicsgate. Ooh, Anthony's talking about Comicsgate. I'll look at this in a minute. I'm about to YouTube search. Sanchez's M1, like Dead Prez M1. Who I got to rock with and do a track with. M1 Peckham. Slammer Media. Is this you? That's nothing. All right, is this Sanchez? Is this you? I'll give you my honest opinion, man. I'm gonna listen to this. We listen to this right now, but I'll give you my honest opinion. If I ain't feeling it, I'm gonna be completely honest about it. I ain't gonna sugarcoat anything. Big up to the views though. If regardless, let's see. I'll see if I can catch up and see if you answer that question. Then we might give this a little listen. All right, Anthony says Comicsgate is amazing. Basically, standing up to cancel culture who goes out there, for example, some artist who draws Superman mainly, or say another artist who draws. Wait, what? What? You're confusing me here. Cancel culture who goes after, for example, some artist who draws Superman. Oh, too. You mean too? Too too manly? Or says another artist who draws Catwoman who drew her with. Okay, I'm not even gonna say that. Yeah, I don't. I look. I don't. Look. I'll look into it. But what I got. Here's the thing. Art is subjective. If somebody wants to say that somebody drew Superman too manly, that's their opinion. Art is subjective. I mean, whatever that means. Hey, look. We put ourselves out there to criticism with the art that we create. So I don't know, but I'll check it out. And if I have opinion on it, I will speak it, whether regardless if that's good or bad. Corn, yeah, corn. You know that style was hot for a minute, right? Um, whoa. All right, yo, I'm gonna tell it like this. I'm gonna tell it like this, yo. Get off my page. Get off my page. If you're gonna come on my page talking some ish like that, get off my page, boy. You don't know me. I don't know if you're okay. We got to set some things straight here. Look, we got to set some things straight because I ain't turning my channel into this type of content. Whoever made this comment, I'm not even going to say your name at this point, but if you're directing it at me, you need to bounce. You need to get off my page. If you're directing it to somebody else in the chat, you need to take a step back and just bite your tongue and keep that somewhere else. Because we don't talk about that. I got a son that's special needs. I ain't accepting the word retard be on my channel. That's straight up. And I don't know what race has to do with anything right now. But if that's directed at me, I'm gonna tell you one thing. You can come at me. You can find me privately and come at me. If you're talking to somebody in the chat, this is a fair warning right now. If I see any more divisive, hatred, negative talk, not only will you be booted, but you will be blocked. Straight up. But if you want to come at me, you can do so privately. Because I don't stray away from it. Ironically, this Q&A is about getting to know me. Because it ain't just Jerno's comics. I'll tell you that much. Moving on. All right, let's see. Trying to get through these. Hillbilly says is bringing up NF. I appreciate it. I've listened to a lot of NF. I like him. You can tell he is heavily influenced by Eminem. It's not a bad thing. He uses a formula that I wish he didn't use every time for every song, but I like that he puts a lot of emotion and meaning into his music. So therefore, I give NF a lot of respect. Like you said, he's 100% real and authentic. I do believe that absolutely. He's definitely good at his craft. Myth Lab, yeah, man. Send me a link via either my email or on Instagram. All right. Yo, Anthony, man. Look, I get it, man. I kind of get what you're saying here now, and I just I that I that's this ain't the time or place, man. It's not. If you want to have a conversation with me about that, like respectfully, I'm not going to jump down your throat. Like you can hit me up on Instagram, man. We could talk about Comic Skate. If you're open minded to having that discussion, because I'm not against having the discussion. I'm not. But right now, I don't want this to go somewhere where it shouldn't. And I'm just going to ask respectfully that you keep just let's that's just not the time or place, man. Because I do have strong opinions on it, although I'm not so close-minded and not be able to listen to other people's opinions, even if it's different than mine. But I just don't like where this might lead. So I ask you to humbly, if you want to talk to me personally about Comic Skate and those issues, you can private message me on Instagram. I'll check Comic Skate out and we'll talk about it. But right now, let's move on from that. All right, I would appreciate it if you can humble yourself to do that for me. Tony, Biggie, Beastie Boys, LL Cool J, Run DMC, opinions. Also glad to hear you rock the hair bands. Bon Jovi, as Journey, absolutely, man. Yeah, man, absolutely. Slippery When Wet is another classic album. Jersey in the House. Journey and just Journey with their ballads, man. And Journey's Bay Area, right? I believe. Look, yeah, Biggie. Look, man, the whole Tupac versus Biggie thing is ridiculous. Because that was really the media building that up. What really was going on was something personal between them, and Tupac felt, like um, like Biggie turned his back on him. He felt hurt. He was hurt by Biggie, and he wanted Biggie to squash it because he felt like they were brothers, right? And it was much more complicated than that. So this whole like you have to either be Tupac or Biggie is whack. Biggie was dope. Biggie, in my opinion, was 100% blown out of proportion in terms of his impact and what he was and what he did, simply because he was caught up in that hype and then he died. The only reason he gets called the King of New York is because of what he was associated with. But so to say like I don't even put Biggie in my top 5, but Biggie was dope, and his legacy is embedded in the culture, especially New York culture of hip hop. But I have mad respect for Biggie. I don't think we saw enough catalog of Biggie to say, okay, we could call him a great. I mean, imagine if Willie Mays played one season, right? Or 1.5 seasons of baseball. Will we be able to call him a great? Imagine if Barry Bonds only played a couple of seasons, if Babe Ruth only played 2 seasons. So although we saw the potential that was there, because his life was cut so short. See, he was only a year younger than Tupac, but Tupac was in the game for much longer. And Tupac had a body of work that was like a mountain to a molehill when it came to Biggie's body of work. Biggie didn't have enough body of work to say that like, look, we could. Like I said, his impact is what it is. It's legendary because of everything surrounding him during that time. Everyone, LL Cool J, Run DMC. I mean, these are heads that in the 80s allowed for these new artists to come into the scene and for the art form to evolve and for the genre to evolve. Rakim created the modern day MC, if you ask me. Modern day meaning anything 90s to 2000s. I mean, now we're in a kind of a different era. But yep. If you ever go to Ohio after all this, hit me up, Kid Collector. Absolutely. Okay, my favorite comic book shop that I've gone to in all my travels. There was a really cool one in the middle of the desert in Elko, Nevada, that had a ton of dollar books. And there was a really cool old school store in Denver, outside of Denver. I believe it was in Golden, Colorado, that had a bunch of old sports memorabilia and whatnot. Really cool as well. But My favorite store in my travels, hands down, is Spiro's Heroes Comics in Southern California, right outside of LA. Spiro's Heroes, guys, go look them up if you're ever in the LA area. Oh, just amazing. Elliot, the owner, is just an amazing guy. They recently got kicked out of where they were and they got a new place, but where they were had like 4 rooms of boxes on top of boxes, short boxes and long boxes with 50-cent books. And on top of that, Elliot, like gave me discounts. I bought some like Silver and Bronze Age Captain America books and whatnot, and he gave me discounts. And I basically filled up a long box of the 50-cent books and I stuffed it, and he gave it to me for $100. So it ended up being like 23 cents a book. Spiro's Heroes, guys, my all-time favorite shop outside of my local shops in my area. Absolutely. Who's the king of rock and roll, in my opinion? Chuck Berry, hands down, no debate. It's a behemoth crew. Chuck Berry, if there is no Elvis without Chuck Berry. And look, Elvis had an amazing voice and he was talented, but I don't even really want to get too much into it. But the only reason why Elvis was marketed the way Elvis was a marketing tool for the 50s and 60s. All right, especially the 50s. Chuck Berry wasn't. And I don't want to get into the details unless you guys really want to pry it out of me, but Chuck Berry was the king of rock and roll. Even Joe Johnson, who basically modernized the blues. But there's no Jimi Hendrix, there's no Elvis Presley, there's no the Beatles without Chuck Berry. No Little Richard. Yeah. Moses is in Texas. Yeah, Washington is just beautiful, man. It's so green. Do I swim in the ocean of Northern California with the great white sharks? Well, the beaches here are pretty cold, but Santa Cruz. I've been to Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz has nice beaches, and I've been in there. I mean, the last time I went to Santa Cruz was like 2013, and I did take my kids into the water, but we're cautious. I mean, you can't live in fear. It's not like the sharks come every day, but it could be kind of scary, Yeah, I can't wait, Moses. I can't wait to go to Chicago. Hillbilly got stranded in San Francisco with a flat. Oh my gosh. It was fun though. Well, hey, look, it sounds like you made the best of it, right? Louis says, you're Sicilian, you could be made in the mob. All right, so I'm Sicilian and Portuguese. My mom is Sicilian. I'm 2nd-generation American Sicilian on my mom's side, and I'm 3rd-generation American Portuguese on my dad's side. So, my dad's side came over from Portugal to Coney Island. My mom's side came over from Sicily and ended up in Chicago before they moved out to Cali. When my mom was younger, and yeah, okay, so my grandpa, my mother's father, not only drove a tank on the beaches of Normandy on D-Day. Yes, my grandfather, and I'm very proud to say this, stormed the beaches of Normandy driving a tank, fighting Nazis on D-Day. It still gives me chills just to think about it. It's pretty awesome. When he was young, when he was a teenager, he used to run numbers for Al Capone in Chicago. I'm not making this up. And I often joke that The Godfather is my family tree, my family story. So, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I see someone saying 6'9". Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Kid Collector says 6'9". Okay, look. 6'9's music is garbage. Now, I do my best to not judge the person. I don't know him. So I don't like that a lot of these younger rappers get, it's like the older generation is like, oh, that doesn't sound like what I grew up on. So it's immediately trash, right? I'm not like that, man. There's a lot of young cats out there. Polo G is my dude right now. Thug life, embodiment of what Tupac was teaching. For those that don't understand what I mean by thug life, maybe I'll talk about that a little later. But 6ix9ine, look, man. I mean, to me, his music is trash. But as a human being, look, I don't know. I feel sorry for a lot of these young rappers that are so influenced by drugs. And you could just tell that it's like they can barely speak when they're recording music and they act like it's music. It's sad because it has a lot to do with the drugs and the pills that they're popping or the lean that they're sipping or whatever they're doing. And I think 6ix9ine falls into that category. I feel sorry for him because I think he has a lot of demons. And I can't listen to his music. As an artist, have you ever created your own character? When I was a kid, I used to have a good friend named Daniel, and we used to draw our own characters. And I still have those comics. Some of them, I have to get them. They're not in here, but I got to get them. I made a character named Tidal Wave. I made a character named Clockman. Man, a Wrecker. I had a character named Wrecker. Trying to think of the other characters. So yeah, I used to as a kid. As an adult, no. But I used to have a lot of fun with that, making our own comic books. What's the best way to purchase comics? Marcus Muse asks. Marcus's Muse. I mean, the best way to purchase comics is to support your local LCSs. Marcus's Muse, I don't think there's one clear answer for that. It depends what you're looking for, what the situation is. The best way, though, is to explore your options. Know how you like to collect and base your decisions on that. If you're a run filler, don't buy from eBay. If you just like to buy random comic books, comic issues to fill runs, don't buy on eBay because you're going to be paying a premium price for books that you might be able to find in dollar bins somewhere else. Find maybe people that are selling collections on Facebook Marketplace or in Facebook groups, then they'd be willing to sell you some run fillers that, sell you like 50 books for $100 or something like that. Hit up your local LCSs, see if they have back issue bins, see if they have sales. For me, A1 Comics is my store. But guys, I hardly go to A1 Comics if they're not having a sale. But that's how I budget my money. When A1 Comics is having a sale, 50% off back issues, I go splurge, right? Because books that were normally $3 are now $150. $4 are now $2. $5, $2.50, $6, $3, so forth. That's how I shop. If you're looking for a specific key, have patience. Explore Facebook groups, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, call local shops. You got to do your homework. You got to be patient. So really, to answer that question, it really boils down to what type of books are you looking for? And, what's your budget and so forth. But you have to be patient and you have to educate yourself and explore all of your options. So if you're talking about new comics too, it's like, look, I talk about pre-orders all the time. My comic shop. If your local LCS, though, allows you to do a pull list and maybe they give you discounts or point bonuses and so forth, hey, go that route. And then you still won't miss out, right? Yeah, Steve Perry's near Fresno. Yeah, not quite Bay Area, but close. Myth Lazard, he was in Vegas the night Tupac was shot. Why'd you let him get away, man? I'm just kidding. That's crazy, though. That is really crazy. Am I going to get my Fantastic 449 graded? Probably at some point, Isaac. Probably at some point. I'm not in a rush to do it, though. Comic shops in Sacramento. Yeah, look, we have a ton in Sacramento. But A1 Comics is 3 locations. And you guys know what I say about A1 all the time. Another good one is Comic Command Center. I talk about Josh, a young kid that's been, I think he's been in business for 4 years now. And, he's got a great selection. He does sales too. And, prices are extremely reasonable and he does amazing sales. World's Best Comics is another decent one. And I mean, there's something there for everyone. Big Brother Comics is really good if you're looking for like trade paperbacks. They have a huge graphic novel trade paperback, and they have some sales and discounts once in a while as well. I mean, there's just so many. And then if you go 45 minutes, down into the Bay Area, then you have a bunch more shops all throughout the Bay Area. It's crazy. I'm really spoiled here. That's why moving away from here, if I move, it's going to be tough. I have to move somewhere that has a lot of shops and some good shops. Joe G. Indeed. Stevie Nicks, Dr. Doom. Absolutely, man. That woman is fierce. Have I ever done an ancestry test? No, I have not. But what's interesting is that, I mean, I'm pretty, because my family are recent immigrants. I'm not saying that who knows what's in it from Sicily or Portugal. I mean, we can have a lot of other things mixed in, but I know a lot more than what a lot of people do. Like if you're American, if you're Caucasian and you're American, there's a lot of mutts. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but where you could be like Welsh and Irish and English and Norwegian and German and and you're a bunch of all these things, right? But my wife actually did one because being black, you don't know. Slaves were stolen from their land and brought here, and they are African American. But Africa is one of the largest continents in the world and has over 50 different nations with even more tribes. So just to say, well, I'm black or I'm African, what does that mean? So she found out that she's from Nigerian, a large portion Nigerian, a large portion from Ghana, from the Gold Coast, the West Coast of it, which coming from the West African slave trade, there's a lot of West African blood, but there's also Bantu. So and it's really interesting. She also had a little bit of Portuguese and Scottish, which is interesting. So that's cool to know that, and then my kids can know that that's part of what they are as well, because they're half her, obviously. Let's see. Tidal wave sounds dope. Yeah. Cook County Hospital. Nice. Comic Jump. Have I ever had FOMO and what for? Look, man, I mean, I think it's safe to say that probably most of us as collectors have had FOMO for some reason. Man, I really, when I kind of I don't know, I want to make sure let's see. You know what I was kind of yeah, I didn't have FOMO of this, but I was kind of pissed that I missed out on it. It was Teen Titans number 12, and I talked about this before. The first appearance of the Batman Who Laughs. I collected every single Rebirth run when it came out. And I stopped collecting the Teen Titans run at issue like 10. And then 12 hit and I missed out. So I'm like, so I didn't like have fear of missing out and then purchase. So I don't, I have regrets to where it's like, damn, I missed out on that book. But I'm not mad about it. It's like, I'm not like people that, I blame, someone's ruining the hobby because now I can't get it because it's worth $100 and I missed out when it was cover price. No, I'm just like, I'm beating myself up like, dang it, I missed that. Is there a purchase that I made though because of fear of missing out? I honestly, I don't know. I don't think so because look, I make, and it's not necessarily, look, there's a fine line, I think, between fear of missing out and making an investment because you feel like it's a solid investment. You know, there's something that's gotten hot, right? And let's say Moon Knight, right? Moon Knight started, we got the announcement, and I was behind on my Moon Knight collecting. And then Moon Knight #1 of his first series jumped. You know, it was like a $5 to $10 book, and then it jumped up to like 30. And guess what? I paid 30 for it. But I wouldn't say that's fear of missing out. I say that's, look, I can't afford his first or second appearance. But I believe that this book, even though it's jumped now and I missed it when it was $5 to $10, I'm still going to pay $30 for this book because I believe that it has long-term gain. So would that be fear of missing out? Or would it be just me still making a sound decision? I think fear of missing out is when, you know, you're not really looking at the either the long term or even the short term ramifications of what you're doing. You know, you're not weighing the pros and cons, and you're not making an educated decision on what you're buying. That's what I think FOMO really is. It's like you're jumping on it and you really don't even know what you're doing. Or you're going over your budget, you know, and you're spending money and it becomes irresponsible. DBF in the house. Ghost Rider and Flash. Who would win between Ghost Rider and Flash? I think Ghost Rider. It's hard to get past like the mystic powers, you know, of Ghost Rider that would kind of give him an advantage. I mean, yeah, where the Flash has so many more vulnerabilities. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Where are we at? Joe says my FOMO was cryptocurrencies. Yeah, you know, I'm not big on crypto. I bought crypto when it was very low. It wasn't the main crypto. It wasn't Bitcoin, it was Litecoin. I put $100 in a Litecoin and I cashed out $1,200. And I'm happy. I'm happy that I did it. Yeah. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. DBF says, what's happening? Where are we at? My go-to Sacramento is comics and collectibles. Yeah, that's another one, Isaac. I know you talk about them a lot for sure. My favorite comic book character and favorite comic movie. My favorite comic book character of all time is Spider-Man. I believe he's been the most relatable to me. There's been times in my life where I have read Spider-Man and Peter Parker and his struggles to help speak to me and help me get through dark times. My second favorite is Captain America. I believe Captain America embodies the moral fabric that we all should carry in our hearts. And it goes beyond patriotism of a country. It really does. It goes much more beyond that. And then for DC, then it's like Batman, Wonder Woman for DC. Batman is still absolutely one of the coolest superheroes. He doesn't have superpowers and he just has all of his awesome toys, right? My favorite comic book movie ever, man. It's really hard because I mean it's just really hard. It really is. I mean, you look at it's hard for me not to put when I do my MCU top films, I put Iron Man #1 at #1. And the reason being is because it was so groundbreaking and it did so much that nothing else after would have came if it wasn't for that movie. So I almost want to say Iron Man will always be my favorite comic book movie just because of what it was, what it set up, and how pivotal it was in the legacy that it was creating. But I mean, ultimately, man, I mean, I could throw like just personally like Winter Soldier is up there. Black Panther is up there because Black Panther spoke to me in more ways than one. And then Infinity War and Endgame as one. I see them as a part one and part two. They're one movie to me. I mean, it's never been done before. So I can't talk about favorites without talking about Infinity War, Endgame, Black Panther, Winter Soldier, and Iron Man. I can't pick one. I can't. Oh, and then Batman 89. Batman 89 has to be up there too because I mean, as a kid watching that movie, whew, yeah, absolutely. Oh, I just got some Cherokee and Yucca. Nice. Okay, Jerno, Louis says, what kind of books are you using for those Marvel DC Indie art short boxes? Oh, wait. Okay, Louis, can you clarify? Do you mean the ones that I Mod Podged or the BCW books that the boxes that I got? Let me know, and then I'll catch up to that and try to answer that. MVS, what is going on? I appreciate the support from each and every one of you guys. Again, I just want to take a minute. I'll keep going through the comments. I want to take a minute to remind you guys there's a lot of links below. If you aren't registered to vote, guys, get involved. I put the link below to go register to vote. Don't just vote for president. Get involved locally. Who's your mayor? Who's your council representatives? What measures are on the ballot? What props are on the ballot? Guys, vote. Get involved. Think globally, act locally. All right. I also put links to my music below. I also put links to Comic Book Canon below. Go sub us there if you haven't yet. Lots of good stuff to check out. All right, let's keep moving. Let's see. Dr. Doom says, I'm Irish, English, Nigerian, Portuguese. That's a good mix. Olive skin with some blue eyes, afro hair. Nice. I was really confusing growing up. Sounds like a good mix to me. Gus. Oh, Gus. Somebody had to bring it up. If you had to rewrite The Last Jedi, what would you do and why? I got to get some water for this. This is for all my Star Wars fans out there, guys. Well, guys, I just want to say it's probably apparent now that a lot of the cast of the recent Star Wars trilogy have came out basically making it apparent that Rian Johnson completely slaughtered this trilogy at the fault of Kathleen Kennedy for never having a plan. It was clear that Kathleen Kennedy, so it's not just Rian Johnson's fault. Kathleen Kennedy was acting like, she could have people come in and do whatever they want with these films. I still think JJ did the best that he could with the Rise of Skywalker, but it's like what could he work with at that point? If I had to rewrite The Last Jedi, look, I'm gonna answer that to a certain extent, but I'm also gonna say this. I've heard so many, Star Wars fans are so perplexed. They can never be satisfied. They hate the trilogy, the prequels, and it forces George to sell to Disney, and then they hate what Disney did with it. It's like they're never going to be happy. You got all different kind of peoples being mad at them at these movies for some reason. It's ridiculous. And there's always those people out there that said, if I would have did it, what they should have did was this. They should have did. I'm not for that because look, they could have done a million things. Who are we to say what they could have, couldn't have did? But I will say this. Finn and Rose and their whole adventure should have never been in that movie. It was a waste of like 40 minutes of the film. They were cartoon characters, and basically their relationship led up to the total devaluing of that film. And that's when they were on Crate, and Rose and Finn was going to sacrifice himself, and Rose stopped him and said, "It's not about hurting the people that we hate, but saving the people that we love." And it was just the most dumbest scene and dialogue in movie history that I've ever seen, because it made absolutely no sense. Because ultimately, yes, it is about saving the people that you care about, and by doing that, it means stopping the people that you hate. All you did was allowed, basically, her doing that forced Luke Skywalker to force project down and die, just for them to get away. When if Finn would have sacrificed himself, they would have stopped him then. The Jedi, the Resistance would have got away, and Luke Skywalker would have still been alive. It was the stupidest moment in movie history, if you ask me. None of that should have happened. And I'm not mad at Rose for being in the movie. I'm bad at how they wrote Rose's character. I'm bad. I know that Rian Johnson completely took what Ryan was doing with Finn and went a whole nother direction, and that was garbage. It took, look, one thing I give Ryan credit to was the mythology of what was going on with Luke and Rey on the island. But that should have been the majority of the movie, in my opinion. And I know that in Lucas's treatments, it was. So that's kind of what I have to say about that. I'm not going to go too much more deep into it, because, look, like I said, I'm not here to say, well, I could have wrote it better or things like that. But yeah, I just wish there was more focus on Luke and Rey, to keep it simple. All right, guys, what else do we got here? How come you don't ever join us on Mighty Mel V's channel? Says Dollar Bean. It's drunken chat. Would love to have your knowledge. Okay, I would. I'm honored to for the opportunity. I never stray away from appearing on anyone's show. Reach out to me, guys. Again, the best way is to hit me up on Instagram or at Gmail at captainjourno@gmail.com. And we could try to schedule something. But I'm going to be honest with everyone watching. If there's other content creators watching right now, and I'm going to be honest, and I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but it's very hard for me to have any extra time on my plate for anything in my life right now. I work multiple jobs. I work teaching distance learning, and even though I only work 2 hours, for educators, many of you know, your work isn't, we work when we're not being paid. There's so much prep work that I spend doing outside of when I'm getting paid in the Zoom classroom. I also do art commissions that I'm behind on. I got to earn money that way too. And then I have my comic book canon commitment every week, and there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of prep work. For even though it's like an hour show every week, I'm prepping multiple days a week for that show. For my channel, I try to produce content 5 to 6 days a week. I'm constantly prepping. For one video, it takes me it could take me up to 5+ hours of prep work. That's educating myself on the subject matter. That's getting images and whatnot together to make the video. That's recording the video, that's editing the video, that's uploading the video, that's posting the video, promoting the video. There's so much work. And then I got to be a father to my kids. I got to cook dinner and take care of the house. There's a lot on my plate right now. I'm heavily involved in local community things, like our community board, school board and district, because I'm helping. I have an online forum for distance learning support group. I'm heavily involved. I teach, or I coach youth basketball, which I'm not doing right now, obviously, but I'm involved in the local election process right now. I have a lot on my plate, and the fact of the matter and the reality of the situation is and I don't want to sound selfish. It's just that it's hard for me to make time. It really is. And it's not that I don't want to do it, but and maybe, sometimes I it might be in my best interest to maybe step back from my channel and say, well, one day instead of doing a video, I could be a guest on somebody's show. And I've done that for a couple times, and I'm definitely open to that. I never want to just openly say no. I know a lot of people that's their niche. They like doing live streams and having guests on, and they are guests on other people's channels, and that's kind of like how they do it. Um, and for me, it's not that I don't like that, because anytime we do comic book canon, we have a guest on. I really enjoy the time that we share. I love talking with other people, but it's hard for me to break out of my mold. So I know I made that kind of long-winded, but Dollar Bin, like I said, keep in contact with me, because I think there is opportunity for me to really try to, you know, be more available for guest appearances on other people's channel. I really want to try to make that something that I can do more often moving forward. I think, we just started the distance learning this year at my job too. So I think once I get a little more settled into that, I'll have a little more time on my hand. Let me tell you this, guys. When I have a holiday break from school. So when I have a few weeks off, that might be a good time for me to, hop on over to some other folks' channel, because I'll have less on my plate. My kids won't be in school. That takes a lot out of me too. So I hope you guys can understand that. And again, I'm not trying to be, you know, I say all that from the bottom of my heart, that I appreciate you guys, and I want to do my best to try to make myself more available for sure. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, and that goes the same. It goes the same, guys, with watching other content creators. I feel bad when I don't watch other content creators, because I feel like I need to be giving the same support to folks as they give me. But I just think it's a fact of the matter, again, that it's life, guys. It's really hard, and there's nights though where I'll make sure I'm catching folks' videos and stuff like that. But there's so many content creators out there. It's tough to keep up. That's why I appreciate each and every one of you guys and all the support that you give me, because it means so much to know that you guys take your time to spend here watching my videos or coming into these live streams and whatnot. And it's extremely humbling, and I mean all that. And I'm so appreciative from the bottom of my heart, for sure. Desmond asks, are you happy with how the channel is progressing? Did you get into this with any specific goals, expectations? Yes, I am. And no, I didn't. I came into this with the expectation of, I'm making a video because my kids wanted me to. And then for, a good few years, I just did it kind of casually, and I made a lot of good friends. And it was a lot different than what I'm doing now, but I'm liking the way that it's progressing because of two things. One, I really pride myself on having a platform to use my voice, whether it's talking about comics or social issues or music or whatever it is. I believe in the power of having a voice, and I believe my voice is being heard. I'm not going to get into why right now, but there's been certain things that are being recognized, and that means a lot to me. And I will say, progressing and being able to um, earn revenue from YouTube does mean a lot. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for the money. I'm not. I'm in it because I enjoy doing what I do, and I want to have a voice in this community. But you have to understand it's a business, and having the revenue there helps me continue to do what I love and continue to be better for all of you guys. And I think we need to recognize that. Like, look, I'm a businessman, and I look at this as a business. But the better I am as running it as a business, the better I am in bringing you guys what you deserve and what you want. And it gives me a bigger platform to have a voice to make an impactful change and a positive change on the community and hobby as a whole. Louis, okay, thanks for clarifying. I have not used them yet. I have not used one of the custom boxes yet. The only ones I have are my Mod Podge ones, but I haven't put anything in my independent boxes yet. I've just been lazy. I do have the one that had like the comic print on it. Let's see if you guys can see this. See that where it's just like the comic print with the word bubbles. I have some Marvel books in there, but all the other ones I have, they're still empty. They're not even broken apart and set. Whew. All right, what do we got? What do we got? Gus did open a big can of worms. Isaac, never really been a fan of Doctor Who. I've been asked that before, but I don't know. I just maybe one day I will. I finally started watching The Walking Dead. No spoilers, guys. I'm on season 3. I started watching it while I was doing my artwork. I was working on Simon R's commission piece like 5 days ago. And when I'm in my room and I'm editing videos or I'm doing my artwork, I just have Walking Dead playing in the background, and I'm on season 3. I'm enjoying it so far. Can't believe I waited this long to watch it. Midlab says, my dad took me into the theaters to see the first Star Wars film, and we saw it twice. From that moment on, I was hooked. Awesome, awesome memory. Rose should have been a traitor. Hey, that's a twist. That's a twist. Can't argue there. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. I'd love to have you on the channel on the holidays. It says Kid Collector, made to last. Chris, what do you think about the cuckold lifestyle? Like, are we made to last? What a question. That sure ain't about comic books. Do you want to clarify while keeping it PG? Made to last? Moses Alvarez says, my wife is a teacher, and yeah, work doesn't stop when class is over. Plus volleyball and tennis coach. Wow. Big shout out to your wife. Any educators out there, man. Yeah, Dollar Ben says, cool. I think our subscribers would love your tenacity and knowledge. I really appreciate that. Please do hit me up. I hope my answer to that wasn't too long-winded and didn't seem, too like I was pushing back too much. I was just trying to be honest. But like I said, I just, there's a drive when I hear someone like you, trying to invite me on and so forth. So yeah, just keep me posted. MN Comic Books. Yeah. Oh man. Wow. Big shout out to Completionist89 for the super chat. Thank you so much. KUTGW. Keep up the good work. I am beyond humbled and grateful. Thank you so much, Completionist. Wow. Again, I get be humble, right? Sometimes I feel like I'm too humble because I get at a loss for words, and all I can say is truly thank you so much for the support from the bottom of my heart. And like I said, I truly do. I put every dollar that I earn from this channel back into this channel, guys. So thank you so much, Completionist89. Truly appreciate you. Jojo, what's going on? Yeah, it's JoJo's still watching Walking Dead. I just never been a big zombie fan, but I will say, and I'm like, how many episodes and seasons can we sit and watch people like running away from zombies? But hey, I mean, they're making it work right now. I'm in the middle of season 3, and it's dope. I mean, it's drama, it's dramatic, it's intense, it's fun, and I like where it's going so far. Yeah, I haven't read any of the comic books, but I'm really liking what they've been doing with the show. Man, I think I'm watching it on Netflix, so there's only 9 seasons, and I do believe the 10th season just aired like this last year, right? So something like that. But Yeah, we'll see. You know, it's interesting with TV shows because you look at the TV show like 9, 10 seasons, man. I don't know if it's gotten tired out. I see a lot of people posting on Facebook over the last couple of years that are still like The Walking Dead. Like, man, they just keep coming at it with you at you, and so it seems like this is the show that hasn't really fallen off. You know, which I kind of felt happened with Lost. You know, it's like the first couple of seasons of Lost were just like amazing, the first 3 seasons, and then it just started getting too crazy. Finally, I felt the last season kind of really summed it up and it ended well. But it's really tough. Arrow was another one that I thought the first couple of seasons were just so on point, and then it just turned into this boring, so cheesy soap opera. Um, so it's tough to really keep a show going for a long time. MN Comic Book says you should read the comics after you're done with the show. They're really good. I might indeed. Let's see. Is there anything you like in it? Is there anything you liked in The Last Jedi? And the music and acting doesn't count. Yeah. Like I said, look, people say that Rian Johnson ruined Luke Skywalker. I disagree. I agree in that he shouldn't have died like that. That death was like a gut punch because it was like I didn't feel anything. That was horrible. But the kind of like the Jedi must end, the burnt out Luke that was like abandoning the faith and the religion of the Jedi, I actually liked that, and that really spoke to George Lucas's treatment. But the reason why it came off as wrong is because there was no context. There wasn't enough context. Luke trying to kill Ben without context was horrible. Like, I wouldn't be mad at that if we saw the evil that Luke truly saw and we truly thought he was doing something that was extremely justifiable to his moral code, right? So I like the mythos of exploring that Luke wanted to abandon the Jedi faith. There was really some type of enlightenment that Luke was going through at the same time. Even though he seemed kind of bitter and like this hermit old man, he almost became enlightened beyond this archaic religion, right? It's almost like, and I don't want to get too much into religion, but I grew up Catholic, and there's a lot I do not agree with. So like there's a lot of vitriol in religions of all sorts that are completely the opposite of how the religions preach that you should behave, right? You know, it's like those who are Christians sometimes can be so judgmental and so forth. And what I'm trying to say is sometimes the religion holds us back and divides us instead of elevates us spiritually. And so when you look at like what Jesus was talking about, Jesus wasn't talking about religion. He was talking about faith in the spirituality that wasn't conformed to a box of religion. It was going to this higher plane of existence and spirituality. That's what the Jedi should have been, right? But it almost turned into this archaic religion where you had all these rules that were conforming it and so forth. So Luke was almost saying, away with the old, I'm done with that. Why are we so selfish to act like the Force is ours, right? But there just wasn't enough context there to really dive into it more than what they did. So I hope that answers that question. So I like that. That was about it. Yeah, that was about it. I liked it, but what was it? I think we saw 10 minutes of Luke and Ray on the island in that movie. I think it was about 10. I counted it. 10, 11 minutes, something like that. There should have been 40 minutes at least of Luke and Ray at minimum. All right, moving on here. Mo said it just finished the new episodes. Hope you stick with it. Talking about The Walking Dead. New comic related shows on Amazon Prime called Utopia. I want to start watching Utopia as well. Gomez in the house. Even if a Star Wars movie is bad, we can always count on John Williams. Yeah, and unfortunately, he's done, man. He's done. John Williams is the man, dude. the man. Yeah, Splinter in the Mind's Eye. I was asked, I still have it right here. I was asked on Comic Book Canon what my favorite storyline is, whether it's the novel or the issues. Splinter in the Mind's Eye. Look. Moving on from The Last Jedi in this last trilogy, I think Disney is knowing what they need to do moving forward with Star Wars, and I think there's going to be some great TV and cinema from Disney Star Wars coming in the near future. I do for sure. What is your opinion on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? If you're ready to answer that question, I wasn't here for that. Oh, I didn't. I love the Turtles. They were a big part of my childhood. My first comic book I ever owned was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle book. I had more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys than any in my childhood. I love the original movies. The original movies will always be the best. The first one is Secret of the Ooze. Yeah, Michael Bay tried to come in and ruin them. But like Michael Bay does. Anyways, I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. Absolutely, 100% hands down. A big part of my childhood. Flicks in Comics says anytime she watches The Last Jedi, she fast forward to all the Rey and Luke parts. Absolutely. There was so much. No, I'm just kidding. It's like there was so much there. There was so much there, and we got teased for shock and awe because Rian Johnson wanted to shock us with silly stuff. Oh, look, instead of having Luke mourn for his lifelong friend Han Solo, we're going to have him sucking blue milk out of a space goat or like, it's just. And I said this, guys. I said this. I recently had a marathon where I watched them in chronological order, not by release date, but by when they take place. I included Solo and I included Rogue One. I included the original films and the prequels. And they all had a certain aesthetic and a certain feel to them, right? Even the Disney ones, even the prequels, even the original movies, except for The Last Jedi. The tone was so similar across all of them, except for The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi had a Spaceballs tone. To me, The Last Jedi is more of a Spaceballs movie than it is a Star Wars movie. Hands down. Ninja Rap. Yeah, we did. We came full circle with Vanilla Ice, huh? All right, Gus. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Whew, man, you guys are really we're going at it. So any guys, look, any other personal questions like, anything outside of comic book collecting, I will put it all out there. I'm so glad that we haven't seen any more ignorant negative comments in the chat since we saw that one. Whew, because I was just about to go ham for a minute there. But that's an insult to Spaceballs, says Kid Collector. That's funny. Right? I hear you though. That's a good point. Whew. Man, you guys know how to wear me out and make me talk, which is a good thing. I appreciate it. I'm just gonna see if I got any questions on my Instagram real quick here. Again, guys, if you haven't checked out the links below, please do so. If you haven't registered to vote, link below. If you haven't checked out the Comic Book Candy YouTube, link below. If you are not subscribed or or following me on Instagram, link below. And I also have my music links if you guys want to check out my music. Yeah. So let's see. Do we have any advice on how to get past dark times? Wow, Kid Collector, that is a heavy one. That's a good one. All right, guys. Let's. We're gonna get a little deep here, okay? I think Kid Collector, you really just asked like the epitome of how to bring it all out, because the way, in order to answer that, it's not just a real direct answer. You know, it's very broad, and there's been a lot of dark times in my life at different points in my life. I currently suffer from PTSD, and I have a lot of anxiety issues that I've worked through a lot. I see a therapist every week, Zoom, obviously right now via Zoom. I'm not afraid to admit that. And I've had to overcome a lot of trauma. So, you know, as a kid collector, you know, being a 14-year-old teenager, like my life really flipped upside down when I was like 13. So right around your age, you know, and I grew up, you know, so I grew up in a household that had a lot of love. I grew up in a big Sicilian family. Um, I was raised by my mother and my father and my grandmother. We all lived in the same house. My grandma basically raised us because my mom worked 2, 3 jobs at a time, and my dad worked constantly, and they were hardly home. I mean, they were there like on weekends, and we would always my parents would always do stuff with me and my brother. But my grandma was the one there every day, taking care of us, cooking, and my grandma, uh, old school Sicilian. She really molded the man that I became in life. But I had all that love growing up. I mean, we didn't, you know, we grew up with enough. We didn't live in a big house or in a great neighborhood, but you know, we weren't. I didn't know that we weren't poor. You know, I was spoiled on my birthdays, and Christmases were like, you know, magical because my parents worked so hard to make that happen. And I really that like they did a good job, and they sheltered me from like the world outside of our door. You know, growing up in the environment that I started growing up in and seeing as I became a teenager. Um, you know, they couldn't shelter me from that anymore, from what was right outside of my door. And you know, at 13, my best friend, and look, as a kid, I was always really shy, and I didn't have a lot of friends. I was bullied and beat up like throughout my whole childhood. I mean, literally physically beat up by bullies. That's why I have no tolerance for bullies whatsoever. None. Especially grown bullies, grown adults that think it's okay. When I was 13, I lost my only friend on a field trip. My friend was on a field trip, and a parent was driving them in a group, and they got hit by a big rig, and he was the only one that died in the accident. This kid was the most amazing, beautiful soul that I've ever met. Ironically, Chadwick Boseman reminded me of a grown-up friend. My friend's name was Chris as well. Chris was just like an amazing human being, and I started questioning my faith. You know, I used to pray every night, and I used to pray for Chris, sit and pray to God, and talk to my mom, dad, brother, like saying that, and I throw Chris's name, and then after a night of praying and putting his name in there, I find out that my best friend is dead. Like the person that shouldn't, the last person that should ever have any harm done to them. And I'm like, what am I praying for? God, what is God? At 13 years old, I had to start questioning my faith and realizing that, you know, like I went into a really dark place, and that allowed me to start opening myself up to what was right outside my door when it came to juvenile delinquents and drugs and dope and you know, all that stuff. So I started running the streets. You know, I got into high school and started running the streets, and you know, I tried selling dope, and you know, obviously started smoking weed and drinking. I turned into a straight up alcoholic. I never did any hard drugs. I tried to sell dope uh for a while there, a couple times, try to make a little money in my pocket. um but you know, I was getting involved with the wrong people. I was stealing cars and breaking into houses and getting shot at, and you know, breaking into houses in broad daylight. And when I was 15, I got arrested for grand theft auto. And I'll never forget going home that night, um, after spending the whole night in a cell. And my mother, this was the next morning, and my dad picked me up, brought me home, and I saw my mother on the ground in our living room, bawling her eyes out. And my dad pointed at her and said, "Look at what you're doing to your mother." And I will never forget. And then did I learn though? Did I learn? Nope, nope. I kept doing what I was doing. I would starve myself because I wouldn't ever come home. I would sneak out of the house. I wouldn't come home. And the few dollars that I had in my pocket, instead of buying food, I go buy weed or a 40 ounce of Old English. Or tie my pants into my socks, and I go in the liquor store and pop a couple of 40s in my pants, and walk out, with 40s jingling in my pants. And just get drunk and passed out in the curb. You know how many I passed out on so many random people's houses' front yards because I couldn't make it home, throwing up on myself. I remember there was one time where we were in basically on 23rd Avenue in Richmond, and I was drunk as hell in the back seat, and we were in an old school Monte Carlo. And all I remember was some folks coming out of a liquor store. We were there to get more alcohol, and they're coming out of a liquor store. They started shooting at us, and one hit the window. We had to get away, and I could have easily been dead because I was so drunk out of my mind. I literally was at a point in my life where I didn't value life. I didn't value my life. I didn't value anyone else's life. I was completely lost and blackened in my soul, and I actually dropped some acid. For those that don't know, LSD. That's the only I never did like hard crazy drugs, but I did do acid, and it woke me up. Ironically, like that you could say you have bad trips. Like I had a bad trip, and it woke me the hell up. And when I woke up, I was 16 at this point, almost 17. And when I woke up, I realized that I was either going to end up in a grave or in a jail cell, and never see the light of day and waste my life away. So I slowly, now I didn't snap a finger and change my life, but I had it in the back of my head. And there was another pivotal point after that where I was sitting in my friend's car listening to Tupac, and it was the song Hellraiser. And Kid Collector, if you haven't heard the song Hellraiser, go listen to that, and you can kind of paint the picture of what I was going through at this time. And I just started going. I just had tears going down my face, and I realized then that moment. At that time, I was 17, and I realized that's when I really realized I got to be that brain that helps change the world, And so I stopped smoking weed. I tried to stop drinking, and I tried to focus in school. I was a senior in high school at this point. I tried to clean up my act and focus and just get out of that. And I eventually had to abandon my folks that I came up with. I couldn't be around the people that I grew up with, because I couldn't live that lifestyle anymore. And so I kind of, went away from all that and got myself in a position. I said, I'm going to graduate high school, and I'm going to, try to go to college. I went to community college trying to do art and stuff. But, so man, Kid Collector's a question, how to get past these dark times, man. It's like, when I look at everything that I went through and ask, how did you get past it? I don't really have an answer. Well, I tripped off LSD, right? Oh, well, let me go. I'm going through dark times. Let me go drop some. No, that's not the solution. Or I don't really, or just put on some Tupac. I mean, that could help, right? I don't really have an answer The only thing I can say, and I've used this for my kids and like Kid Collector, you know, my kids 13 and 15 years old, right around your age. It's like, and my son, when my oldest went into junior high, there was a lot of peer pressure, and he started hanging around with some folks. And you know, I I brought the hood out of me to my son at that point. I brought the hood out of me, and I told him my story. And the one thing that I can do is at least share my story, so those young people that might be living through something similar or might be thinking like that they might head down that path, they can see what it looks like. So it's not necessarily about what I did to get out of it, because look, I'm gonna tell you, it was luck. I was lucky to come out of it, because most people don't. That's how I look at it. I mean, at some point in time, I made a conscious decision. I had to make a constant decision. And it's when I looked at the reality that I was facing: death, incarceration. And when you do that, then you can say, well, how do I get out of these dark times? I have to find something within myself that gives me purpose, right? And I guess that's what you could say I did. But now I feel like I can tell these, like, it ain't worth it. For one, that type of lifestyle is not worth it, because you're not in. And I've said this a lot over the years. You know, especially if you come up, I don't, you know, and especially those that don't necessarily live in the hood or grow up in poverty and they want to emulate rap music or whatever. It's like, you really got to understand, especially for black and brown folks, if you grow up in the hood or in poverty or in that lifestyle, the street life, you're either doing all you can to leave it, or you fall victim to it. Nobody's here glorifying it, for the most part, that are living through this. So that's just kind of what I'm trying to say. So that's one that's one part of my life where I went through a lot of dark times as a kid, that, you know, it was really hard. I mean, I finally had to make that realization for myself. I had to find purpose, you know, and music helped me. That's why I say Tupac saved my life. I'm no joke, dude. No joke. If I didn't have Tupac's music during that time period, I wouldn't have made it out. I wouldn't have found purpose. He helped me find that purpose. But watch your circle. You know, if you have family, don't neglect your family, because the thing with my parents, I was in my slumber. I was in my mental slumber, right? And I woke up one day and they were old. My parents, the ones that stood by me and loved me through everything, and that I put through all this pain and hardship and heartache, probably gave them all the gray hairs on their head. I was a kid one day, and then I went down this path, and then with the snap of a finger, the next day I was coming out of it, and I looked at my parents and they were old. So appreciate who you have around you. If you have family that love you and care about you, never take them for granted. If you have friends that are true friends, if you have that one true friend that you could trust and confide in, you are never too cool to act too cool. Meaning, what they think is too cool ain't cool. So if it has to deal with peer pressure and whatnot, and I always tell my kids this too, like, I would rather you go out and be in a situation where you feel peer pressured and you smoke some weed or drink some alcohol and then come home and tell me, rather than lie to me, right? Because look, we can work through that, because I understand that there's peer pressure for teenagers and young adults and whatnot. You know, another thing that helped me too, coming out of dark times, when I was like 19 and 20 and I was like past all that, I spent a lot of time with myself. I started working in an area that was by the water and that had like lots of forests and scenery. I was living in Richmond still, but I was working in Marin County, which is just north of San Francisco, and it's across the bridge on the bay. And it's a very wealthy community. It's a very wealthy county, but there's like redwood rainforest there. There's the beach. And I would get off of work and I would go drive by the beach and I would sit watching the water, talking to myself. And I will say, I found God. I talked to God within myself. Like, I think it's very imperative for our own health to be able to sit with ourselves in nature, not like just alone in a room or in front of your phone. Like we got to get it. We really got to get away from the phones and the TVs and the screens and get out in nature, go for a walk, sit under a tree, talk to a tree. That might sound weird, but I used to carry a pad and a pencil with me. I used to write poetry, or not even poetry, just words, right? And I used to like look and sit at a tree, and I'm like, okay, yo, I'm having a conversation. Like, what's up, tree? And I would talk about it, or like talk about the water, how the water's a breathing thing, and what I'm hearing from the water, and just like, you got to get yourself out of your head and into the world around you to connect to something bigger, right? So I think that really helps when it comes to how do you get out of dark places. You got to be really connected to what is around you, and we get grounded when we go back to that in which we came, and that's the earth, right? And I don't mean to sound all new age hippie on you guys, but it's actually science. It's science. We are all energy, and we are connected to the energy that flows all around us, and we got to keep positive headspace. And in order to do that, it's kind of like a refresh. You know how you hit like refresh on your computer or something, or you clear your cache, right, for your apps. That's kind of like what we're clearing our cache when we're going and spending time in nature. Maybe you do it with silence and you're just listening to the birds or the water or the breeze, or maybe you put on some good music that can help you mellow out and just be in that moment. And we got to focus on the moments for sure, because all we have is the moment right here and right now. Yep. So, man, I mean, that's I know that's a lot. Myth Lab had to go. Appreciate Myth Lab joining today. Oh, Kid Collector says his mom and stepdad are going through a divorce. Yeah, man. That's got to be tough. I never went through that myself, but I think probably the cliche thing is like to know like it's not your fault. I really think it's imperative the kids understand that that stuff is never, never, never the fault of the children. I don't know your situation, but all I can say is to try to have hope, because divorce doesn't mean that you lose people, right? It could be a better, it could create a better healthy situation in the end, even though it hurts. But I think maybe, and look, this is my advice. I'm not saying this is going to make everything better. I'm not in your shoes. I don't know what you're experiencing, but you know, I would try to look at like what you have still. You have your mom. I'm sure you'll still have your stepdad. You know, uh, Even if it's not as it was, it's not. Oh man, it's so hard to say because I don't want to feel like oh, it's easier said than done, right? It's so easy for me to sit here and tell you like, well, it's not the end of the world type of a thing, but it's like, look, I don't know what someone else is going through. But yeah, just my advice is just I don't I hope that whatever the reasoning for divorce, I hope that they are still civil to each other. I hope that there's still some kind of friendship there that they can hold, to where they both can still be a pivotal part of your life moving forward. And I know, the cliche time heals wounds. I don't wish that on anyone, but I would just do my best and encourage you to try to focus on the positive things that you have. If your mom's there, just give her a hug when you can. If your stepdad's there, give them a hug when you can. Appreciate the moments. Talk to them. Express how you feel. Talk about how things affect you. I think that's very good for kids right now. And my oldest, who has a lot of anxiety issues, it's like I don't know how to deal with him unless he's telling me what he's going through. So just speak up. Don't be afraid to speak your mind to the adults that are raising you or taking care of you and that are responsible for you. So I hope that advice can help for sure. Um, yeah. Yeah. And Nor says the hiking being a part of nature, exercise. What better thing than to pair exercise with nature? Absolutely. And hey, look, kid collector, if I don't know, again, I don't know the details, but try to, hey, ask to spend time with either your mom or your stepdad, even if it's just one-on-one. Say, hey, stepdad, can we hang out this week? Maybe for a couple hours, go do something. Or hey, mom, can we hang out this week? And again, even though I know it's like, look, I went through another dark time as an adult, and I'm just going to put this out here right now. My wife, I've known her since I was 12 years old. We were good friends. She's battled addiction later in life, like heart addiction. Um, she's currently 3 years clean, over 3 years clean out, and she's a part of NA, which is a program that has done wonders for her in her recovery. And I almost lost her 7 years ago now. She almost passed in a car accident in an attempt to go find dope when she let somebody that was drunk drive her vehicle trying to go find dope, and at 120 miles an hour flipped it 3 times. I'm not going to go into too much details, but I found her at the scene, squished in the car, laying upside down, stuck, bleeding out. It's a miracle that she did not die. And she broke her leg. She almost lost her hand. Her hand was almost cut off. She had internal injuries and bruises. And it's like I said, it's a miracle that she didn't die. I won't go into too much details, but she went through that, and still battled prescription addiction for a few more years after that. But like I said, she's been clean for 3 years. There's been a lot of turmoil. A lot of my trauma has to do from being in a relationship with an addict. And I know it's been hard on my kids. My kids have gone through a lot because of that. And there was times where I felt like we can't do this together. And I know we put them through hell. So kid collector, I can kind of, as a parent in a relationship where things haven't always been good, I can kind of understand from that perspective on how a kid feels in being in a situation where it's maybe not healthy, or people are growing apart, or there's issues. But like I said, all I can say is just keep talking to your parents. I think that's key, because it's easy for, I'm going to say this too, most parents beat themselves up a lot. If you're a good parent, you're going to have flaws, and you're probably going to beat yourself up a lot. But no parent is perfect. We don't know how to do this. We're just, it's handed to us, right? And we do the best that we can. And some parents think that staying together is the best thing, and it ends up being worse. Some parents think that divorcing is the best thing, and maybe it ends up being better. And so, but for me, who beats myself up a lot as a father, as a parent, I am consciously aware of how whatever I'm doing or my relationship is doing is affecting my kids. But the way that I can be truly better as a parent is when my kids tell me how they're feeling and how things are affecting them. So yeah, I mean, looking at it again, I just would reiterate, just like, keep talking to your parents. I think that's going to be key. Keep having those conversations, letting them know that you love them both, regardless, letting them know how things are affecting you. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling out, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling this, like, just keep talking. Don't ever feel like you can't express yourself, and you have to close yourself off. Because once you start closing yourself off, that's when I think it can get really dark, and look, I hope, kid collector, I hope that you have, I don't know if you have other family members that you can talk to, or maybe friends. And maybe, look, at the same time, maybe dwelling on it isn't a good thing. And there's some times where you don't want to talk about it, and you just want to be a kid and have fun. So that's why, if you're You come on, you enjoy your comic books, you escape doing a video showing off some cool comic books you bought, getting in a chat, chatting it up with some good folks. Maybe you're gaming on Xbox or PlayStation and you're talking to some folks. And you could take your mind off of those things and just try to be a normal kid and forget about all that for a moment here or there. So, and I'm glad that I could be here to help provide that. Um, I know I'm a grown adult. I hope that you have kids your age and peers your age that you can reach out to as well. Um, yep. So yeah, I mean, and again, Kid Collector, hit me up and we'll get gamer information for my kids for sure. Um, Thank you, Kid Collector. Yeah, yeah. My wife, I'm grateful. Like, look, yeah, she my wife's gone through a lot in her childhood. And I'm thankful, like I said, with her recovery and where she's at today. My wife is actually an educator as well. She is an educator. She works with special needs children as well. So it's amazing to see her, come so far. She's really doing so much as a mother now. And, sometimes you got to have patience, with people in your life, whether we're kids and that's the adults, or we're adults and it's the kids or the ones we love or whatever. But, we've been through a lot, but at the same time, I'm blessed for where we came. It's like that which don't kill you makes you stronger. I believe that for the most part. Sometimes we're left with scars and we have traumas and whatnot, and it could be a fight. But keep pushing through, find your purpose, find your voice, and just find purpose in each day, man. Because really, at the end of it, like, look, regardless if you are religious or spiritual, regardless if you believe in heaven or an afterlife or there's nothing there, maybe you're atheist, whatever it is, like, there is something in this moment. And I know there's a lot of pain in life, but I'm telling you guys, if we can try to do our best to find the beauty in the moment, and hey, I'm going to continue to help, uh, you know, bring positive moments to you all as well. So yeah, and absolutely. And Kid Collector, I really appreciate you being vulnerable. Being able to talk about these things here with us. Especially as a man. I know you're a kid still, but you're coming into manhood. And we live in a society that sometimes we men feel like they can't express themselves. Men can't express emotions. Men can't be vulnerable. But that's not true. That's not a weakness. It's a strength. For men to show their vulnerability is a strength. So I appreciate that you were able to be vulnerable with us here today, Kid Collector. So yeah, thank you as well. Um, Absolutely. Kid Collector, that's why I love comments. Gets me off the subject, but it always lingers in my head. Absolutely, man. And that's why I say, guys, too, there's so many things here, when it comes to art forms, comic books, reading, storytelling, art in general, music, hey, in nature, everything that we talked about. I'm so glad. Look, in coming full circle here with this live stream today, because I'm probably going to wrap it up, guys. Honestly, I drank a whole lot of water, and I have to go. I have to pee pretty bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I can't believe I'm not like bouncing up and down. That might make it worse. Anyways, I'm glad we could come full circle to this, because I think we talked about dark times. We talked about going through life experiences. I was vulnerable and sharing so much with you guys today. Kid Collector shared. And it really comes back to why I'm here with my channel and why I love this art form of comic books, and I can surround myself with something that allows me to be in the moment and be distracted from the world, and enjoy myself, and to be here on this platform of YouTube and to create content that brings people together, that can unify us, regardless of politics, religion, race, all these different things. And we could find something, because I do believe we have so much more in common than where we differ. And that's a fact. And we just allowed ourselves to be vulnerable. We talked, we laughed, we joked, we got serious, and we supported each other, and we were here as a community. And I appreciate each and every one of you for doing that today. For sure. Oh, I can't. No, I gotta. I did have an accident on myself in first grade. I was raising my hand for my first grade teacher was a big meanie, and I was raising my hand for a long time, and she never called on me to go to the bathroom. How embarrassing, right? Nor says, I would say to have one good friend. Absolutely, hobbies help. I've been lucky that I have been that friend where people would confide in. Just listening to someone helps a lot. Absolutely. Yeah. Look, hey, one good friend is an amazing thing these days. But I consider you guys, friends and family here. Like I said, this is a community. I thank you all so much for joining me today. We talked about comics, we talked about life, and man, let's do it again sometime. There's a lot of things to talk about. Not only did I, talk about myself, and you guys probably learned a lot about me. I got to learn so much more about you guys, and I really appreciate that. So, guys, with that being said, thank you again. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. So close to 3,000. Going to be having a 3,000 contest announcement soon. Links below again. We have Comic Book Canon every Friday night. Check us out tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Link below. Check out my music. Link below. Instagram. Link below. Thank you guys. Look, and you guys can always reach out to me via email or Instagram with whatever. If you're a content creator, you want me to check you out. If you're a musician and you want me to check out your music, or hey, you have some questions you want to ask or whatever the case may be, reach out to me. I'm always here. So, guys, this was fun. It was an honor. Again, thank you all so much. Please be safe, be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves. Have a good rest of your day and evening. And until next time, guys, thank you. And vote, 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 vote. Absolutely. All right, guys. Peace.